Ah, um, Low-key back at it again with another video. I wanted to talk about like a little bit of this, a little bit of that. You know what, first off, I wanted to say that I apologize for not posting 2 days ago when I knew I should have. Um, Low-key slacking off there, I can't lie. Oh, why am I itchy, bro? It's been so hot today. Um, I wanted to talk about what a virtuous friend looks like and why having a good friend matters in your life. So to me, what a virtuous friend is pretty much somebody who, um, wants what's best for you, right? Somebody who will tell you the truth, even though you probably might not want to hear it, or maybe it might come across as harsh. Um, a virtuous friend will tell you what you need to hear and not what you want to hear. Um, and honestly, those are the types of people that you want around you. A virtuous friend is somebody who's loyal, somebody who stays true to you, somebody who will help you out pretty much in whatever aspect of life you need help in. All right, let's say you're learning a skill, right? And your friend knows a thing or two about what you're doing. Obviously, they'll try and help you, right? They'll try and push you to become better, to become a better person. They'll help you not because they have anything to gain out of it, but because they want to see you do better. They want what's best for you, even though it might seem, even though it might seem a little bit harsh. They want what's best for you. It's somebody who will call you out when you're doing things wrong. Um, I'm blessed to say that I've got a virtuous friend. I have a friend who will tell me, who will call me out on things if I'm doing something wrong or if I'm saying things that I shouldn't be saying. I'll get called out for it. And honestly, it might seem like it's harsh, but it's honestly for the better because they just want you to become better. They want you to improve yourself. They don't want you to repeat mistakes, the same mistakes that you might have made in the past. Obviously, coming from me, I didn't make the best decisions in the past before. Just with pretty much everything in life. I had that friend who I could call and tell them that I fucked up. I had a friend that I could really just talk to, just really say what came across my mind. And I feel like pretty much everybody needs to have a friend like that. Everybody needs to be that friend. See, I think that's what the problem is in today's world, is that everybody wants something or everybody wants something out of another person, but they don't want to be that person. So I feel like if you want a virtuous friend, you have to be that virtuous friend. You have to be that person, that foundation that somebody can rely on. You have to be that person to stay loyal to your friend. You have to help them whenever they fall back down. Offer them words of wisdom. Try and help them in every single aspect of life. Because obviously, what you do is going to come back to you. And yeah, that's another thing that I believe in. Whatever you do comes back to you eventually in one way or another. The good that you do, good will come back like onto you as well. Um, and I feel like that's pretty much the law of the universe. Like if you're a hardworking person, then you will reap the fruits of your labor. But if you do nothing with your time and you don't use it effectively, then nothing good will ever happen to you. So I do believe that I do believe that you have to place yourself in situations where you create lucky scenarios. Does that make sense? I'm not too sure if it does. Pretty much what I'm trying to say is that if you work hard, then you will have more opportunities to reach success. So, in that sense, doing good will reward you at the end of the day. And this goes the same if you're doing bad things. If you keep on doing bad things, one day something bad might happen, and it'll cost you everything. From the person who messed up in the past, you don't want to be in those situations where it's like, fuck, what do I do? You know, it's like you have your hands tied behind your back and your back's against the wall, and it's like, well, what are you supposed to do now? Um, and also, being alone is really, really tough. Being alone is what kills a man from the inside out. You know, it's like the silent killer. It might not look like much, but being alone can drastically impact the way that a person behaves. So that's why I suggest that even if you might be lonely, try and try and be somebody who is a virtuous friend. Try and be that virtuous friend, actually. Because when you are somebody who is honest, somebody who's loyal, somebody who says the truth, even though it might seem harsh, you will find people just like you. You know, it just goes back into who you are as a person. And who you are as a person will shape the people around you. Who you are as a person will influence the people that you hang out with and the people who hang out with you. So that's why I think having a virtuous friend is very important. You know, it's just like working out in the gym. I'll use the gym as an example. I know I use the gym to describe a lot of things, but it's true because if you have somebody who has the same drive as you, who has the same goals, who has the same desire to achieve something, then you with that other person can competitively push each other into achieving your common goal. And that's why I think having somebody who's a virtuous friend, not only that, but somebody who shares the same goals as you is very, very important. And this kind of goes back into the people you surround yourself with. Um, I I'll admit, you know, I wasn't surrounded by the best people. I wasn't being influenced in the way that I should have been influenced. And I definitely had a time where I was finding myself in environments and situations where it was like, I shouldn't be here. Um, so just really think about it for a second and understand that who you are as a person can dramatically influence your environment around you. That's why I try and go for people, or I try and find people who have the same interests as me because I'm so fixated on my goals. You know, I've made friends who are business owners. I've got one friend who is super duper influential in the car scene. Um, he is, you know, he's a really good friend of mine. He's helped me out when I needed him the most. Um, you know, he's taken the blame for my shortcomings, and that's something that I'll always appreciate from him. He's pretty much been there for, you know, damn, pretty much my lowest times, and I'll always be grateful for him. And you know what? Even though you might not find people who are like that, being that person could mean the world to somebody else, and him being that person meant the world to me. So I do believe that these people are special. You won't find a lot out there because finding genuine people nowadays is very hard to come by. But being that genuine person isn't hard. All you have to do is just change, admit that what you did was wrong, and if you genuinely change, if you genuinely have a change of heart within who you are as a person and your character, then you can become that person that you want to be. I believe that bad people, like really bad people, like people who have, I'll use an extreme example, people who are serial killers, people who have done all kinds of bad things, criminals, everything, like people who have done so many bad things in their lives can genuinely change if they put in the amount of effort into themselves to find it in their hearts that that is who don't want to be. And um, that is somebody who is powerful because if you have a strong mindset, if you have a strong mentality, and you're in touch with who you are as a person, you can genuinely change. Surrounding yourself with people who are virtuous um, also pushes you to become better as well. Obviously, I used to be, man, I mean, to be honest, I still am. I'm not perfect, nobody is. It's just all about being human. But when you surround yourself with people who are good people, people who look after you, people who, check in on you, people who ask you how you're doing, like genuinely, like really just genuine, genuinely ask you how you are, you know, what's been going through your mind, things like that. It might seem small, but man, it's a big deal, especially to people who are down in the dumps, like people who have fought battles that nobody else has heard of, especially that too. Like that could mean the world to them. Honestly, that could save somebody's life, just asking, hey, how are you doing? Like, are you okay? Just checking in on them, something small like that, you know. Um, and obviously for a guy, like, man, okay. But surrounding yourself with people who are genuinely virtuous, people who have those characteristics make you want to change for the better. And it just is so good for everything, You just, obviously, the type of person you are is the type of people you will attract. So it just pays to be kind. If you're a kind person, if you are a hard worker, if you want to focus on your goals and achieve them, then you will find people who are like that as well. And honestly, having those people will make you, man, having those people will make you achieve things that you never thought were possible. I've got a friend, I'll say it again, same guy as before, but the business owner, you know, me and him, we brainstorm through ideas. We we go through things that might not work. We go through things that might work. This is kind of where two people come together and they just sharpen each other. It's like a knife sharpening against a knife. And it's just bettering each other, bettering each other, bettering each other. And that's what I talk about a lot. Having somebody else who has the same drive as you will push you to achieve greater things. Um, and me and him, we've been working together for quite some time now. And man, the business has come a long way. Honestly, the brand itself, there's a lot of potential in it. And I believe that he can achieve those things because of what I've seen him done in the past. And he might not think that. He might think that, oh, like, what if people don't support it? What if people don't, show up? What if people don't, buy the brand? And it's like, if you can pull this off, if you pulled this off before, you can pull it off again. And it's that genuine feeling of believing in somebody. And when I said that 2025 has been probably one of my most challenging years of my life, I've obviously faced a lot of things. I was in dark places, um, and I had no friends. Damn, like, obviously, it was pretty hard, and I was going through it. But man, when you are in a downward spiral and like you hit rock bottom, like you ask yourself, what the fuck? Like what am I supposed to do right now? Honestly, when you hit rock bottom, the only way you can go from there is up. So I feel like that even though it might be hard, it's like the best thing that could happen to you because you're only gonna go up from there. You know, it happened to me. Man, I was in bad shape. That forced me to find a purpose. That forced me to put myself in situations where I was uncomfortable in order to make the friends that I have now. And that's probably one of the things that I'm most grateful for in my life. Being able to put myself in uncomfortable positions where I'm able to create new bridges, make new connections with people who are creative and like-minded individuals. So, to anybody out there who's struggling with fitting in or finding a friend group or finding a purpose in life, just try new things. Just keep trying until something makes sense to you. Put yourself in situations where you are uncomfortable. For me, I was going to events, just talk to people, just use your words and talk because closed mouths don't get fed. And if you don't stand up and you don't say anything and you don't take action, nothing will ever happen to you. So that's why I'm a firm believer in taking action. If you take action, then things will happen. And even if they don't, even if something might not happen, then you just keep trying. You just keep trying until something happens eventually. And it just takes that one moment, just that one instance to change your whole life. It's that powerful. So just please, just go out there and give it a shot because you won't regret it. If you're at rock bottom, what do you have to lose?